Hey guys, and welcome back to the HobbyDo007 channel. Had a good bit of bench time today. I have had a blast, and that's what this hobby's all about, is having fun. But got my hands in the styrene, been working on the 40 Ford out-of-box modified, and I'm keeping it out of box, guys, as tempting as it is. But as you recall in the first video, and if you haven't seen that one, you can find it in the playlists for the Saturday Night Short Track group build. This is one of my two builds for that, and it is the 40 Ford modified. And as you recall in that video, if you saw it, there were a few issues with the kit itself, and I showed some of those. Well, some of those I've gotten worked out. Some of them I'm in the midst of working on. And as I said, I'm going to try to get some paint on some stuff tonight, primer and paint, depending on what it is. But let me stop rambling and just show it to you. Stick around. Bring your model to life with MCV products. Visit them on the World Wide Web at mcvproducts.net. Hey, a quick apology, guys. As I was editing this video to post, I noticed that several places, more than usual, I was out of frame. So I apologize for that in advance, and I'll try to do better. Starting with the body, as you recall, that roof line was really warped, as you see here. And here's the finished result. And how I did that was it took about 25 minutes slowly on a medium heat on the blow dryer. And what I did was put pressure on that right side while pushing up just a touch on the left until it evened itself right up. And again, here you see the finished result. Nice and straight. The firewall I'll get to in just a minute because there has to be some modifications yet made to it. The side panels, if you remember, had all of those injection pin marks, as did the underhood, all of that stuff. So we got those filled in, water sanded, nice and smooth. Chances are you're not going to see them, but you know, we know they're there. I've still got to do these back here, which that's not going to be a big deal. Side panels fit on nice and evenly. I did run into one other issue, and that is where the curvature here in the body comes down. This was out pretty far, and it kept the body from going on the chassis. It was pushing it forward, so we had to fix that. And how I fixed that was kind of like I did the top. I simply put pressure here and pressed down and just waved that. Now this one only took about 10 minutes, but the blow dryer right here and just back and forth, put a little pressure, and every few minutes I would check to see how it came down, and you see that nice straight down now. You don't want to use too high a heat, and you don't want to really rush it or get it too close or keep that blow dryer in one spot too long, because it will distort the plastic, and you don't want to do that. But after I got that done, everything fit really nicely, as you'll see here. Went right in. And I did have to do one thing, and that is the firewall. You see the indentations that go up here that the chassis rides up into, the tubes anyway. They only came down to right about here. And what that did was it actually made that, see that upper roll bar in there, the front one here? It sat about that low, and I thought that just doesn't look right. So I lowered that a little bit and dropped it down so that fits right up in there, up against the roof line, and everything else lined right up beautifully. But it did cause me to have to make another change to the chassis. But it's not a really big deal. I'll show you that here in just a second. But I think it looks pretty good. It's nice and even across there. And something I did not notice in the instructions, but the headers actually, for some reason, I was thinking they came out and ran outside the body. And that's not the case. As I studied the box art, and you'll see here on the box art, where part of the pipe up here is behind the body. So it goes inside the body and then tucks out right here. Well, I've lowered the body even more. And you can see it right here too, where it goes up in the body, and then you see the dump back here. but this, as it comes down here, is inside the body. So I do have to make a little modification there, and it's not that big a deal. What I'm going to have to do is, and you can see I've already measured just that slight amount there on both sides. Then I marked that so you can see the pencil marks there, and I'll have to remove just that much, little bitty bit, so the headers will go right in there. And I'm going to have to take probably my Dremel bit here, and right here where the pipe is going to go, open that, make a little circle up in there a little bit, which I think is going to look pretty cool, so that pipe dump will shoot out right there. But I think that's going to look really good too. But it's really not that big a deal, guys. Where these side panels went in, I've already got some putty on those. So we'll get all of that smoothed out, finish clean up that firewall with all of those. I think it was 8 injection pin marks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, those have all been filled in. Everything looks really good. And I've already primered it once and then sanded it again, and it was nice and smooth. There's no lifts anywhere. I think I'm going to use a piece of bare metal foil aluminum right here, just below this little ledge there where the hood rests. But we'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not far enough along on that quite yet. On the chassis, if you remember this, you see where the gaps were in this upper roll cage. And what we did was, hopefully you can see it here, and I know that's transparent, so it's kind of hard to see. Well, here's a picture of it. You'll see there in those joints where the gaps were, you can see the clear filler there. And what that is just 5-minute epoxy, guys. So back on the chassis here, you see there's the 5-minute epoxy. Fill those gaps in on both sides so it looks like it's just one smooth piece. I applied that with a toothpick and just kind of looked around and just kept checking it. We're going to get some primer on this in a minute and let's take a look at that. But I think that everything is coming along really, really nice. These old Tobias chassis are something, and if you remember, I double-checked all the leveling with our new little tool, our new little level that I showed you in the last video. I'm loving these things already. Irv, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you introducing us to those. But looks really good. The other modification I had to make was on the engine. If you remember, the headers were really, it was a tight fit, and they were at a little bit of a downward angle. And you also remember that they were not even. Well, let me get them down here where you can see them a little better. Well, after I made some modifications to the header flange here, I removed it back off the engine and fixed those headers where, as you see now, where one was longer than the other, now they're nice and even, so that exhaust dump will be able to attach to that really nicely. I'll paint that flange the engine color, and then I think I'm going to do the headers in white like they used to be. You saw a lot of those back in the day. And I'm really not sure on that yet, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Same thing for the other side, nice and evened up, and that was easier to do than I thought it would be. In tinkering with the other parts, everything really looks good. Some of it is already in primer. I'll show you that one in the next video. But I do want to get some primer on this chassis real quick and let you get a look at that. In the next video, we'll probably go ahead and have that body sanded up and maybe primed. I don't want to get into the paint on the body until the chassis is finished. I've got to know where those exhaust dumps are going to come through the body before I make that cut. So I'll probably go ahead and get the rest of this done. And I'm looking forward to getting into that engine. The part I'm not looking forward to is not being able to detail it. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, guys, let's get some primer on this thing. Take a look. Here's our chassis primed up. I put one thin coat of primer on it, just kind of bring out any imperfections or anything that I'm going to have to clean up. I do see a couple of spots already that are going to need to be sanded and cleaned up. There's a little chunk of something right there that's going to need to be sanded off and smoothed. A couple of spots around here, and you can see up front here, you know, let's look at it from the back too, but you see where that that gap was, and there's where the epoxy, the 5-minute epoxy went in, smoothed all that around. I am going to sand this. It's a little rough on the edge right there, so I'll sand that with a sanding stick again, just kind of bring that down, and just make sure everything is smoothed out. And then we're going to get our orange on here. A couple little hangers that are going to need to go on here, like shock hangers, things like that. And then once that's done, we'll double check it, hit another primer on it, and yeah, I think this is a good looking chassis though. It was really fun to build it. Also, while the chassis was drying, I went ahead and opened these up just a little bit more to let this, let me see if I can find my, there it is, my file that I used there. But these only came up to right about here, which raised that up quite a bit. So I went ahead and blocked those down right to the edge, so it sits a little bit lower back here now. And I think that looks a lot better, a lot more even. Yeah, see how the body's down here a little bit more now. I think that looks a lot better. And also, while we were drying, as we said earlier, where the headers are going to have to tuck up in here just a little bit, where I had marked that, I went ahead and took these spots out. I got a little cleanup sanding to do right in here on both sides. But now I've allotted for those headers to be able to tuck right in here. And again, once we get everything in, I'll come back and just make my little arch right there for that exhaust dump to go. But I think it looks pretty good. Everything is coming along, and in the next video, like I said, I don't want to keep these things too long, but I want to, I'll let you see in the next one, most of this hopefully will be in color coats, but we'll take a look. There's only one other thing that I'm worried about, and that's that interior piece that sits. I'm going to have to, since I adjusted the body height, I'm going to have to adjust this piece, because it goes right here. And you see how everything lines up there. And I mean, this is a good snug fit. And in that the body is a little bit lower, I'm not sure if I'm going to have to maybe, I know the sides will be fine, but I may have to sand a little bit off back here. But I think that'll be easy enough to do. Well, I can't get it on there like that. This technically is supposed to be glued into the body up here, and then put on. Well, actually, let's see if we can do that. See how it works. Well, actually, guys, look at that. Yeah, it might. No, there it goes. I just wanted to try that live. I have not done this yet, so let's see if the other side will come down. You know what? I think that's going to be spot on. Well, how about that? But we will be double checking that and test fitting as we go too. Cool, cool. Okay, guys, like I said, next time we'll have this blocked up, cleaned up, and in primer. And I'll try to get the color coat, well, finish sand on this, another coat of primer. Then we'll get our color coat on it and go from there. Well, guys, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. God bless. See you in the next video.